Welcome back, folks. Let me feel too real. You're watching part 32 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. So we just got done finishing beating Cipher, or I should really say Gilgamesh just got done beating Cipher, and we just stole all of his aura spells that we can run away with. But we're currently on a point of no return, or after a point of no return, which we cannot go back and we cannot go back to the world map. We cannot go back to Ragnarok to go explore more of the world of Final Fantasy. We're done. We cannot go back. So that's a bit of a problem. But you know, I warned on the last part that hey, if you have anything that you need to get done, take care of it now. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. Now, there's some side quests you absolutely can still do, but the ones that involve towns and people, you won't be able to do anymore. Now, you want to make sure you have at least 2 very strong physical attackers and 1 person who can have the recoverability. That way you can heal en masse on a character, full heal a character, because Renault is actually going to be a part of the enemy party with Adel in the next fight, which you probably wonder, well, Phil, why is Renault going to be a part of Adel's party? Well, you'll see here in a minute. It's kind of odd, but you also want to make sure you have Mug. Adel does have a very rare item that, you know, it's nice to have in your inventory. If you want to use it on a Guardian Force, you absolutely can. But she has a very rare item. Now, when we get up here, again, make sure you have 2 very strong physical attackers and 1 very good healer. And then I would have one of them have the steel, the Mug command, preferably the weakest physical attacker, which in my case is going to be Selphie. And one thing about Adel, which I didn't do because I was too much, in the words of Cypher, I was too much of a chicken wuss to use Renzo Kuken on Adel. Because Adel does have a unique Renzo Kuken animation for Squall when he uses it against her. But I did not want to take a chance of him having used Fated Circle or Blasting Zone. I think I want to say Lionheart hits a single enemy, but I'm not entirely sure. I didn't want to risk that either. So unless it was Rough Divide, you're probably going to kill Renoa, which is not going to be good. Because if Renoa dies in this battle, the battle's over. You get a game over. Now, here we're going to see Cypher throw Renoa to Adel, or maybe even this Ultimecia controlled Adel. At this point, Cypher is no longer going to be any part of the story outside of the ending, and for a very small part of the ending. So, an interesting thing about this fight, the very first time I tried to beat Final Fantasy VIII, my game ended here because I 100% relied on Guardian Forces to take out all enemies, and I didn't even know about the Deep Sea Research Center either. So, you know, I didn't even have that going for me. I just 100% went from point A to point B, relying 100% on Guardian Forces. It was a very miserable time finding out, hey, I can't beat Adel because I cannot kill Renoa. So, anyways, Adel. Adel has quite a few attacks. The most important one is she will drain Renoa for HP to restore her life every turn. Every time she takes a turn, she will start the turn by casting Drain on Renoa and then attacking the party. Now, she'll cast Meteor. She'll have a Spirit Bomb-esque kind of attack. I think it's called Energy Bomber. She'll be able to cast Flare. She'll be able to cast Quake, Holy, and then she'll have Ultima ready to go once she says some kind of phrase that says her magical energies are concentrated, or she's concentrating magical energies, something like that. Now, a way you can kind of buy yourself a little time if you don't have any healing to give Renoa. Renoa has spells you can draw cast, and so she has Regen. You can cast Regen on Renoa to kind of like offset some of the damage Adel's doing, but it's not going to be enough to completely stop her from dying, I think, because Adel will drain more than what Regen can restore, but again, it can probably buy you a turn or two. That's why I say, hey, make sure you have a healer that has recovered. That way you can just automatically heal Renoa and keep her alive. Now, Renoa can also be stolen from. You can steal Mega Elixirs from her. It's completely up to you if you want to risk that. But with Bahamut's card, you can refine those mega elixirs and not have to risk it. I just decided to show that off, other than not showing off Renzo Kukin. But at this point, once you steal from Adel and if you want to steal for Rinoa, you absolutely can start going to the offensive. Now, one thing to do is to just single target Adel. Do not do anything more than that. You don't want to run the risk of taking out Rinoa. Now, this right here, this is bad in most cases because she's going to cast Ultima. And Ultima is a very powerful spell that I don't think it will bypass. I don't think it will bypass your spirit, but it does do a crap ton of damage. I'm doing a little check right here. No, it doesn't bypass your spirit, so you'll be able to keep it at high spirit. But as you see there, it didn't take out my party, but it could be a threat if you're not prepared for it. So Zell and Squall are going to take their turns beating the mess out of Adel. Selphie is going to do a little bit of damage as she can do it, but she's going to be focused on healing Rinoa. So, in the way it's explained how Rinoa is like kind of stuck onto Adel is Adel junctioned Rinoa onto herself, and as I said before, Adel's a big old girl. She's at least twice, maybe 2.5 times the height of any of our characters. So she's a big old girl. And interesting enough, she continues the little wing motif of sorceresses. Rinoa has angel wings. Adel has these dark, sharp wings. Ultimecia, we'll see, will have wings as well. Adea actually had wings in the form of her dress, that cloth see-through thing that popped out of her back whenever she was in battle. So that's interesting. And so just remember to just single target Adel, and then just keep on hitting her. Now, an interesting thing I want to say about Adel is, if you remember back in Timber, the giant television that had weird things that were said, a lot of that it's understood by fans of Final Fantasy VIII, that it was actually Adel communicating with the player or the world at large, where she'll say stuff like, I will not have you forget about me. I am alive here, bring me back there. So she had a small amount of presence in before we even saw her, even knew about her. So again, just keep physically attacking Adel. If you want to have spells that single target like Flare, by all means do that. If you have very high magic and you want to use it from your pool, by all means do that. It's much better in multi-target and run the risk of killing Rinoa. I think we're almost done. Actually, no. I think we still got a few more attacks in. I think this will be it right here. Yep, that's it. And so Adel's going to be destroyed, and then Rinoa's going to inherit her powers, and then we can start the very odd final sequence of the game. And it's very interesting how she disintegrates just like any other monster. Okay, so now we'll go back to seeing Rinoa, and we'll get into this very funky FMV, which is very cool. I thought it was absolutely a trip when I was growing up and seeing it for the first time. So Eleni is going to send Ultimecia and Rinoa back into the past, because now at this point Ultimecia only has one sorcerer she can control, which is going to be Rinoa. They go into the past, she collapses, which is very interesting because we didn't see that when Squall and the others got taken into the past. We didn't see all that weird light shenanigans. And so now, once Ultimecia is in the past, she'll be able to cast time compression. The whole world's going to be going all crazy. So let's see what happens now. And as Laguna says, this is the showdown. Love, friendship, and courage. It's going to get us through the day. And so let the acid trip begin. Which is very interesting because where are the other two characters? Where's Quistis and Irving? It was very odd. That looks like an eye to me. Is that what they came out of? Anyways, we're going to see a lot of the scenes from all throughout Final Fantasy VIII that we saw. So very interesting. And we're gonna see that both all three past, present, and future are gonna be merged into one. And it's really a trip. It's hard to explain this to people who've never played Final Fantasy VIII, but it's just this is what attracts me to Final Fantasy. It's a very interesting yet convoluted plot. And Squall's gonna say, "Hey, let's go ahead and meet at Adea's house." And Renoa makes the remark that she might disappear, and Squall's like, "No, you won't. Stay by my side." So they're gonna go to Adea's house, and this right here, I thought this was very cool. Just a lot of birds just coming and abducting them, or just obscuring the view. Very interesting. Such a trip! I feel like they ripped this from Final Fantasy VII's ending, where I think it was Final Fantasy VII, when you at the very end of the game, where Cloud's like having a acid trip of his own. So right here, you'll get all these save points, and only one of them will actually save. It's actually the first one. So if you try to use any of them, you're going to see that, oh, you can't save, but this one is the one you save. So go ahead and heal. You'll have a boss fight here in a bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and default to my normal party of Zell, Squall, and Renoa. So at this point, I'm not going to change my party anymore. I'll use the other characters for some stuff, shenanigans in Ultimecia's dungeon, but as a whole, I'm not going to be using them for any sort of battle at all. So I'm just going to stick to my main party, and that's it. And then we'll just continue beating all the bosses and the rest of the game with these three characters. Now, a little bit of stuff off screen. I went ahead and just recorded me fighting Omega Weapon, and I gotta admit, even though I was using the Holy War and Aura, cheap way of beating Omega Weapon, it was a lot shorter and easier than I remembered. I remember thinking, man, this took a lot longer in the PlayStation version. Well, come to find out, in the remastered version, Omega Weapon's not going to be automatically at level 100. He's actually going to be a normal leveled enemy. But anyways, enough of that. I'll talk about Omega Weapon when we get to him. So we're going to see Adea here, or is it really Adea? So we're going to be introduced to another boss fight here right before we get to Ultimecia's castle. It's going to be a series of fights against several sorceresses. I think I said that right. Multiple sorceresses. They're super easy. A lot of them will go down in a single blow from Zell, Squall in my case. And then we'll get one final sorceress that is a lot harder than the rest. And as you see here, the area around is just melting and going to crap. This is a, is that freezing? No, it's not. It's a consequence of time compression. So a 1-2 punch from Zell and a physical attack from Squall will take out these sorceresses. And then you have to fight, I think, like 14 of them, I want to say. 11 or 14 of them. 11 sorceresses. And the 11th one is like the actual boss. So you can take them out however you want. Most of the time I'll take them out without giving them a chance to attack. So, Angelo, get launched. Go blow up that sorceress. 3,000, Jesus. That was a lot of damage for Renoa. So she'll go and bite the dust, and we'll get another couple or one. And there's three different types. There's this one with the dress and veil, and there's another one that has this weird, it makes me think of like, I don't even know what it makes me think of. It's just a giant orange and yellow dress that this sorceress wears. But every time a new sorceress comes, it will change the whole layout of the area. So that was Estar. Now we're in the train center of Bolam Garden. It's just interesting that it changes the area to a different arena. And they are literally just going down like no one's business. And that's really it. That's really all I can say about this boss fight. So I'm kind of at a standstill until we get done. So instead of me just staying here awkwardly silent, I'll talk a little bit about what I've been playing. So again, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16, and I just got to the I forgot what it's called, the Echoes of the Fallen DLC, And I gotta say, the boss of that DLC is amazing. I didn't expect that kind of boss, and it was just phenomenal. I love that fight to death. Uh, but yeah, I probably should have recorded that. My first reaction to it. I did die the first time, but it was an amazing boss fight. I don't know. Maybe I might do that. Might do it again just to see if I can do better. But anyways, Angelo is going to take out sorceress letter B. And this was the sorceress I was talking about. They just look very odd. It's like orange, yellow, and red. And then once we take out the ones at Wind Hill, I believe, that's when we get to the actual boss fight. And Squall will also have a unique Renzo Kuken animation for the boss if you use it. And I'm going to actually use that, so you don't have to worry about it. I will show that. And away we go. Which one is this one? Is this Wind Hill finally? Yes. So after we take out this sorceress, then we will be fighting the actual boss. So she's done. And then we'll go down to some kind of tunnel, and then the sorceress will come out of the ground, I believe. It's a much different sorceress. It looks like a giant worm. It makes me think like maybe this is like some kind of primordial sorceress, like after like the god of Final Fantasy VIII, the Great Hind, which is the god or whatever that created the sorceress, or the sorceress ended up getting made from. There's a section of the Final Fantasy information, like tutorial page, that discusses some of the way backstory of Final Fantasy VIII. But I like to think this is like the primordial sorceress that right after that. But yeah, she'll counterattack every attack with that weird attack, but with one Renzo Kuken, she'll be done. And she'll also have the ability to, now the reason I missed so much of that, because this is like my second time seeing this animation, and I got a little flabbergasted. But, what was I, oh yeah, she has, a Ultima spell that she can't cast. She'll have a countdown, and once it gets to 0, she'll cast Ultima. But this sorceress is not very difficult. A lot of physical attacks, and if you want to cast magic from your pool to take her out, you absolutely can. It's not difficult at all. In a way, her face reminds me of Sigma from Final Fantasy. I mean, there's a Sigma in Final Fantasy 16, but not the one I'm talking about. Mega Man X. So we'll get a lot of stones, and we'll also get a lot of AP for our Guardian Forces, and then we'll be taken to Adea's house. So we need to go to the back where, and this is the Adea's house in the past when Squall was a kid. So you want to go to the back where the lighthouse was. So follow this way and then go through the door in the back, and we will see a pretty awesome FMV. And this track, I don't remember what this track is called, but I love this track. It's very foreboding. It's very appropriate for the world that Ultimecia is from, and we're at the world where Ultimecia is from. Now, I've read quite a bit of fan theories and some fanfics about where this castle came from. My favorite is that this castle actually came from underground, and Ultimecia tied it in the sky to these chains, and it's just being lifted by her power. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for fan theories and fan fiction for Ultimecia and like how she originated. But Squall makes a mention that these are seeds and they're fighting across generations to end the tyranny of Ultimecia. But as you can see, it didn't work out very well for them. So, but luckily, we're the main characters. We kind of sort of have plot armor in the event that, you know, outside of battles, we're invincible, but in battles, we could be defeated. Now, these 3 portals right here will lead back to the world map. Now, because of my visual mods, these portals do not show up on the map, but they are there. They do register as being there, but you just can't see them, which makes this a little bit risky. Now, I don't know if they made a fix for this, but this one puts you right by Wind Hill, I believe. But I'm not interested in that, so we're going to go back over here. It's really the middle one that you'll be most interested in. This one is where you would go to get the Ragnarok, and we're going to actually use this one to get the Ragnarok. I will get the Ragnarok, that way you have some, that way you can see that there's some means of still exploring the world map. Now the top one will lead back to the giant forest north of Estar that has that chocobo forest that you need all the chocobos from the forest to get you the reward for that quest. So there's really nothing worth it right here either. So we're gonna go back to the middle one. Actually, we're gonna go north, and then I'm gonna save my game because when I play this, I was like, okay, I don't see these portals. So if I leave them, I don't have a way of knowing if I'm in the right spot now. So I'm saving to load if I jack up. Um, so you want to go to the forest that is a little bit to the north. I think it's to the north. If you go to the central ruins, you kind of went the wrong direction. You go in a different direction. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to show that the world map is still the same. That red dot is where the Ragnarok is. And we're going to have to go south and then go back east in front of Adea's house. And then go back north, I believe, to the desert where all the cactars are. And the enemies are no different in the world map than what they were normally. The only difference is if you approach a town, you're going to see some weird barrier that's going to prevent you from going inside the town. And that right there is going to prevent you from exploring anymore. But you can explore dungeons. You could go back to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier where the Brothers Guardian Forces were. You could go back to the Deep Sea Research Center. You go back to the Central Ruins, which is right in front of me. If you didn't get Odin, you can get Odin now. If you have already had Odin and got Gilgamesh, Odin is lost forever, which is kind of a trend now that I'm thinking about it in Final Fantasy. Specifically Final Fantasy VI, and maybe to a lesser extent, maybe Final Fantasy 16. I want to say that because Odin just... The icon Odin goes away, but you get its power. But anyways, I digress. So get the chocobo here, and we're going to ride this chocobo all the way to that red dot. So we're going to have to go south. But at least we got this awesome tune to go with it. So you're going to go to where the central ruins were, and you're going to find a beach. And then from that beach, you're going to follow the shallow water to where Adea's house is. And once we get to Adea's house, it's really easy to get there. So take this path I'm going. Okay, right here, that was the hard part. Now I'm going to make a little back trip back to Adea's house because I'm like, oh yeah, I got to show off why we cannot go back to any place. So I'm going to show off Adea's house and that barrier I'm talking about, which is going to be... Where is it at? It's right in front of me, I believe. Yeah, right there. So you cannot go inside that barrier. You're locked out. All the cities and villages have that. So we can't do that. So basically, it's final dungeon or extra dungeons that you haven't explored yet and got rewards from. And the Lake Obel side quest is locked out too, so don't try to do that here. So here you can see we get to Ragnarok. Wasn't that difficult. So you just dismount, get in the Ragnarok, and you probably wonder, well, Phil, what's the point of the Ragnarok? There's nothing to do. Well, there is if you did the CC card group side quest in Garden. Because once you get in and you go into the Ragnarok, you'll see Shu, and Shu will mention that they're all aboard, which I don't understand how they all got into the Ragnarok, but anyways, I'm grateful for it. Now, they'll mention, and if you didn't, they won't be here if you didn't do the side quest. So, at least now we have a way of playing cards with the CC group, and more importantly, we can get back the cards we card modded, which is very nice. One of them in particular, the twins, is who you would really play to get those cards back. So, for example, Pandemona, which I card modded, I believe Minotaur, which I card modded into Adamantites or Adamantines and Quasicult to get the Dynamo Stones. You'll be able to get those back. Now, there's 5 cards that I have not gotten yet, which, if you remember where that escape pod where Piet was, you can go back there, but instead of Piet being there, it'll be the Queen of Cards, and she'll have those 5 remaining cards, which is from her side quest. So you're getting it all right there. The trade-off is, though, she'll play with Lunar base rules, which kind of sucks, and they all play with Lunar base rules, so it really does suck in that regard. You can talk to everyone here if you want, but really, the Ragnarok only serves to have access to the card game and to further break the game even more if you really want to break the game. Now, what I did there, I jump cut it because I forgot where the portal was, and it's right there. If you don't have these visual mods on, it will be right there. You'll be able to see it. It'll be a giant doorway that you can see, but in my case, the visual mods remove it, but it does remain right there in that spot. So I want to go ahead and continue the quest to defeat Ultimecia. I don't know why I'm running around like a nincompoop, but yeah, the Ragnarok serves the only purpose just to get to the last few dungeons that you may or may not have already done. Deep Sea Research Center, Tomb of Unknown Soldier. I think that's it. I want to say that's it. And then also playing card games. You can talk to your party members here, get a little bit of information. Renoa will make an interesting note that even if Ultimecia is defeated, it won't change the fact that she was born, which means this is predestined to continue on and on and on, according to Renoa. So all the card members are here. If you want to challenge Queesis, you got to have her in your party and go into the airlock in the very back of the airship. But none of these card group members have any worth to me, in my opinion, except for those twins. Those twins will use all the cards that you've already card modded. And this is where you would go to play Queesis in the back over there. So nobody's here, so if you missed Laguna, Kiros, and Ward's dialogue, you're lost. You can't ever see it again. So make sure you watch it whenever you're in Disc 3. Alright, so now let's go ahead and I guess now, I want to say now is when I'll go and fight Ultimecia. I have some notes here, but I didn't take concise 100% notes. But now we'll go across the chain and go to Ultimecia's castle. Now, you can go straight to Ultimecia and challenge her, but there's a problem. There's a gimmick to this castle. I'll let the game explain here in a minute. So you'll go up to the door, your rest of your party members will follow you, and then you'll be able to challenge this castle with a party of 6. You can make 2 parties of 3. And the final dungeon music, I love the organ here. I don't normally like an organ, but the forebodingness of this organ with this dungeon, it makes it be like the final dungeon. It's a final dungeon theme, basically, is what I'm saying, and it really fits the mood because you can see the whole world's like dead in Ultimecia's future. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna enter the castle, and why the door is just open, they could just left it shut, and there would be no threat. But once we get in, you're gonna be seeing this giant green glow, and it's gonna say that our party's abilities are sealed. So they're sealed by Ultimecia's servants, so we can't use item, magic, guardian force, draw, our command abilities, limit break, we can't resurrect, and we can't save inside this castle. Which means if we want to have a better chance of challenging Ultimecia, we have to beat the bosses inside of Ultimecia's castle. And I think there's 8. I'm going to take out 5 in this part, and then we will continue to beat the other 3. And then I haven't decided when I'm going to show a mega weapon. I might go ahead and show it after the 8th enemy, or 8th boss. Haven't decided, but a mega weapon was easy for me to beat. It was not as long as I thought it was going to be. Anyways, or I remembered it to be. So this first boss is called Sphinxar, I believe. Sphinxar. Anyways, it has 2 stages. The first stage, it will have a Sphinx's head. And according to the Final Fantasy Wikia, it'll cast level 3 magic, which can be negated if you equip spells to your elemental defenses. You can still junction guardian forces, you can still adjust your stats, you can still equip spells to your stats and elemental junctions and status junctions. So for Sphinxar, you can just equip various, abilities to absorb elements, but after you do so much damage, it will rip its mask off. It'll be in its true form, and it goes down really easy to physical attacks. Like, it didn't even get a turn. That's it. It's dead already. So after you beat the guardian forces, after you beat the guardians, they will give you generally a very good item, kind of like a item to better equip your guardian forces, and then they will give you a choice of what ability to unlock, which you can unlock any of those 8. Personally, I think I was just goofing off which ones I normally get rid of. I normally get rid of the seal on magic, and I get rid of the seal on guardian forces first before anything. I don't know why I got rid of, I think I got rid of draw. Was it draw? I want to say it was draw. I don't think I got rid of magic. Okay, I got rid of command ability. So now I can use recover, I can use revive, I can use all that good stuff, and treatment and all that. Now, the reason why I like to get rid of magic and then the Guardian Force seals first is because I can cast Meltdown and I can cast Doom Train. Meltdown to make my physical attacks as powerful as possible because they have no defenses. And then Guardian Force because I can summon Doom Train and inflict all kinds of stats elements to my enemies, specifically the bosses. So that's normally what I do, and then after that I just start unlocking abilities as I see fit. But those are generally the ones I do. Right here, I don't want to go this way. This way actually leads to some of the harder bosses that you want extra abilities to fight. So we're not going to go that way. This bell right here, when you ring this, this is what triggers Omega Weapon to be able to fight it. But we're not going to fight Omega Weapon because I don't want to get Ruffle stomped by Omega Weapon right now. And right now I don't have the means of getting there. Because you need 2 parties to get to Omega Weapon. But in the remaster, I think you can get there just barely with the speed up function. And an interesting thing about Ultimecia's castle, you can encounter all the enemy types here in Ultimecia's castle. I want to say that all the enemies here are at low level. I want to say. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say that. But what's interesting is you can encounter all the enemies here in specific places, and then you can draw magic from them. You can steal items from them if you know where they are. So that's kind of cool, but they're generally going to be at very low level. I can't think of one area where it is a high level monster. I'm trying to think. I don't think so, because normally when I go through here, I just equip Encounter None, and I just go through here, like, just really quick. I don't even worry about it. But we need to go to right where we beat Sphinxar, and we're going to set off this chandelier. It will break the hatch on that trap door at the bottom, and that's where we're going to fight the second boss. I believe his name is Tripoint. I want to say it's Tripoint. Yeah, it's Tripoint. Now, Tripoint, you want to equip Thunder Magic to your elemental defenses. Once you do that, the whole point of the boss fight is kind of negated, because you're kind of egged into using fire and ice magic to beat not Sphinxar, Tripoint. This mofo right here had to show up. Morboro. Luckily, it didn't back attack me, and luckily, it didn't cast Bad Breath. But this is a very low level Malboro that I can just beat to death with physical attacks. So, luckily, I have fire and ice magic equipped to my party members, so I can do a lot more damage to it. So, this is one of the enemies that you can encounter here in the cellar. Kind of appropriate, in my opinion. Morbros, I feel like, just hide in darknesses. That's kind of like what happens in Final Fantasy XVI as well. And we got a little bit of experience. We didn't get barely any experience. So challenge Tripoint, but make sure that you do not have Thunder Magic equipped to your attack. Make sure you have the Thunder Magic equipped to your elemental defenses. That way you can either negate the thunder damage it will do to your party inevitably, and make sure you have someone equipped with fire or ice magic to their weapon. So right there, Renault doesn't really need to do anything. Squall has Blizzaga. Zell has Blizzaga. As long as you have Blizzaga and Faraga, you should be good. So you're going to start the fight off fighting Tripoint. Now, he'll make a mention here, whatever magic he doesn't use, he doesn't like, he'll counter or something like that. So you're kind of supposed to attack this thing with magic, but with physical attacks, you can just steamroll him over. And then when you attack him, he will counterattack with, I think it's, is it Tri-Thunder? Is it Tri-Thunder? No, Mega Spark. Mega Spark is Thunder Elemental, as it sounds, but with the proper junctions, you'll absorb it. It won't hurt you, which means he has no way of dealing meaningful damage to you. Any kind of damage he will do with his physical attack, you'll heal with his counterattack. Now, interestingly enough, I've never done this because normally this is the route I always go, so I don't. And then also, I don't have scan magic normally because I know the enemy's weaknesses at this point. But you can scan Tri-Point, and something I didn't know is when you do that, he will counterattack with an attack called, what was it? I think it's Onrush on the next turn. And it is a very strong physical attack that will ignore damage, and it, from what I understand, it doesn't miss. And it will do 9,999 damage according to what I've read. So that is enough to kill a character. Since it's physical, you could potentially negate some of it with Protect, but you don't have to worry about that if all you do is you just physically attack Tri-Point. And as you see there, it didn't take that long. He will go bye-bye, and then you will get a Rocket Engine, and a Rocket Engine can teach a Guardian Force the speed plus 40% ability, which is very nice. And then one more thing, if you did not get any of the drawable Guardian Forces, you can draw from the bosses here. So if you haven't gotten any of the Guardian Forces, which I don't see how you wouldn't at this point if you followed the guides or my guide, or you just have draw equipped to your characters and just check every single enemy and boss you encounter, you can draw Siren from Tri-Point. You can draw another Guardian Force from all the bosses that you fight here. Even Eden, you don't even have to do the Deep Sea Research Center to get Eden. But the thing is if you miss those Guardian Forces and you miss them here, they're gone forever. You won't be able to get them ever again. So it's important that you draw them on the first go, and if you somehow miss it for some reason, you can draw them here again. So with that, we unlock, I didn't see what I unlocked. I think I unlocked magic, or did I unlock draw? I don't remember. I was looking at my notes. So we encounter some grats here, and then you can just finish them off. Okay, I unlocked magic. Now, magic is generally the first ability I unlock because I should have Meltdown. I don't have Meltdown on very many of my characters, so I think I only have it on Squall, which is kind of bad because the next boss we're going to fight, Crystal, it's like Krysta. Yeah, Krysta. So Krysta. It counterattacks everything, and it has an insane amount of defenses, physical and magical, I believe. So it's not a very fun boss to fight when it has all of its defenses going for it. An Abyss Worm here, you can steal windmills from it. They're not very difficult. It's kind of like the purple worm enemy from other Final Fantasies, but this one's not. It's not difficult at all. It doesn't eat your party members, which is nice. You can put it to sleep, but after a few physical attacks, it'll bite the big one, and then it'll generally drop windmills, which is very nice. But at this point, you should have all the windmills in the world you need from the Pandora card. So go back this way, and then what we're going to do is we're going to switch to Party B. So go to this green circle, switch to your Party B, and then what you want to do is equip Diablos' Encounter None, or since you're playing the remaster, you could automatically turn on the no battle feature. If you want, it's up to you. If you want to stay within the confines of the game, just use Diablos and Encounter None. And this is one of 3 instances, I think, that will use Party B. So go ahead and have them go down the chandelier. It will trigger and they will go down. So they won't be able to make it to that door. They'll jump off. And then what we'll do is we'll go to that green circle to the right. There's a lever there that will be pressed once you get in that circle. As soon as I can get my party in there. The lever will be pressed. You can switch your party, and now the chandelier will not fall. They'll be holding it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and equip Diablos back to Renoa. I don't know why I was going to remove all her stuff. Because I'm a dum-dum, that's why. So, go ahead and equip Diablos. And then I'm going to give her back... I forgot what to encounter none yet, because I don't want to encounter no enemies. At this point, I really don't care about fighting enemies. I just want to beat the bosses and get to the final boss. Because I've already done all the grinding in the world I need. So now we can go across. Now, Krysta will be a very difficult boss if you don't Doom Train it or you don't use Meltdown, because it will counterattack every type of attack except for physical and offense, except for physical attacks and offensive items, which, you know, is a very bad thing. So you can't use magic without it countering. Wait, no, it will counter both of them, I think. It will counter physical attacks, and then I think it'll, for magical attacks, I think it'll counter again for physical. It'll counter magical and physical attacks with counter rockets. But if you use offensive items, it won't use it, I think. Now, this boss, you can draw carbuncle from it. So if you miss carbuncle against the Igloyan fight, you can draw it. I don't know why I keep saying junction instead of draw. You can draw it from Krista, but I don't have to worry about that. It will cast Holy, so you might want to go ahead and equip that. It is weak against wind as well. I think it's weak against wind. No, it's not weak against wind. It is weak against ice, and I made the mistake of having Blizzaga still equipped to Squall and Zell, so they're not going to have a very fun time trying to fight this thing. So, unfortunately, I forgot to do that, which means we're going to have to suffer through seeing my mistake. Now, something I forgot, because I've made this mistake before in the past, you can run from these boss fights. There's nothing, these are the few boss fights that you can run, and you can come back and fight with a better junction. And that's really what I should have done. I should have unequipped the ice from Zell and Squall, and then just got rid of the elements. That way I don't have to worry about it. But luckily I went ahead and gave her magic. I went ahead and gave Squall, I think Squall had his meltdown, but it really doesn't matter because you can have 0 vitality, and as long as he has an immunity to blizzard spells, he's not gonna be hurt. He's not gonna be bothered by it. But he doesn't have, he'll regret fighting me. I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it, Phil, I forgot what I was gonna say. You just stopped. Oh, he has very low HP. I want to say, I don't remember. He has very low HP considering boss fights. He only has, at level 1, I'm looking at the stat chart now. At level 1, he has 5,200 HP. At level, 55, which I guess it says highest level, he only has 16,000 HP, which is a very low HP amount for this end of the game. And I guess they kind of wanted to offset it in case you get stuck into a situation like what I'm in. But mine's just sheer ignorance, not ignorance, but just sheer carelessness. I did not double check my junctions, but right there, that physical attack got countered by that attack. Did a lot of damage to Zell. Now, interestingly enough, limit breaks do not take into account the elemental junctions that your characters have. So, you could get your characters in a limit break range and then just well on Krista once you use the meltdown command or meltdown magic, or you summon Doom Train. And right here, I'm just trying, I think I even cast Quake on it because I'm stupid. So, don't do that. Because it's freaking floating. Why? I mean, it's floating. Of course I would use it. But yeah, it's floating, so Quake is not going to do any damage to it whatsoever. So 0 damage, it's going to counter that magic attack, and boop, Renoa gets hit. I'm hoping that if I can lower Zell and Squall's HP down to yellow or within a reasonable limit break range, I can just well on it with limit breaks. So Squall's almost there. And of course, I forget, do not use recover. Do not use recover on Squall or Zell pass fill. So it's going to attack me one more time with Zell. That should put me at dual range, which is going to be nice. No, you dumb. Dumb. Oh my god, Phil. Why? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Because you're an idiot, that's why. Oh my goodness. I needed Zell to be in that yellow. I guess maybe I wanted Squall to do... Like, I'm trying to comprehend why I did what I did. Why didn't I just run? Because I show it against the red giant. I show it against the red giant just because I want to show it. But for this boss, I don't know why I did not just run and reset my junctions. This would have been a fabulous time to show it. And then I heal Squall. Go figure. But this is the importance of showing proper prior preparation prevents piss poor production. Or, making a boss a lot harder than what it needs to be. But luckily, it doesn't have a lot of HP, so you keep on wailing on it with magic. Um, once you hit it with Meltdown, ironically enough, Meltdown does lower its spirit as well to 0. So you can just keep on casting magic after you use Meltdown. It will do a lot more damage. I noticed, and I never really thought about that, and I didn't find that out with the Final Fantasy VIII. What taught me that was my battle with Omega Weapon. Because normally what I did, now I'm thinking about why the fight took so long, I would have Renoa just continuously cast Eden. Eden has a very long freaking animation, which is why it takes so long. Zell and Squall would do their things with limit breaks, and Renoa would just do her thing with Eden, and just does a lot more damage. It does a lot of damage, but just slows down the battle tremendously. And one more thing about Krista, you'll know when you've beaten it when it casts Ultima. It will use its final spell, Ultima, as its desperation attack to take you out. And once it does that, it's done. It's dead. And then we're almost done. I can already see it on the timeline. We got about maybe 1 minute left, maybe a minute and a half. But I should have really just let him just damage Squall and Zell to like yellow, and then just kept on attacking it. And the reason why I keep using Thundaga and Tornado is because I can easily get those spells back with my items. Come on, that should be it. Nope, we still got to go a little bit more. Okay, one more Thundaga, maybe 2 more tops, and we should be done. Nope, that's it. You cast Ultima, and then we're done. So just make sure you have a lot of HP to survive this. It will always cast Ultima as its final desperation attack, which didn't do a lot of damage on my part. So it's done, it's defeated, and that's perhaps probably the longest boss fight in Ultimecia's castle, honestly. Besides Omega Weapon, I think Omega Weapon lasted a little bit longer. That one lasted so long because I was just careless and didn't check my junctions, and I was just careless and did not want to run. So when we defeat Krista, we'll get a lot of AP, and then we will also get, I want to say, we'll get Diamond Armor, I think. No, Diamond Armor comes from the Red Giant, I believe. I think this one's the Elemental Guard, yeah. So Elemental Guard will teach the Elemental Defense ×4. We'll get one more seal to unlock. I want to unlock Guardian Force because I want to use Doom Train. And so we're done here. We go back across. And what we need to do is we need to go to the prison to fight the Red Giant. And we will do one more boss fight after that, and then we'll be done with this part. And we'll fight Trauma, we'll fight the Red Giant, and then we'll fight Gargantua, I believe. And then we'll be almost done with all the Guardians in Ultimecia's castle. I think after that we'll only have Catalpaz and Tiamat. Yeah, I think that's it. I want to say that's it. I could be wrong. I want to say no, I think that's it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very forgetful. So here in this art gallery, what you want to do is you want to read all the portraits, especially this one. That looks like a Moogle to me in a way. Or it might look like Totoro from my neighbor Totoro. So you need to fill in the name of that art piece. But all the titles are in Latin, I believe. I think they're all Latin or Greek. So Ignis, which is fire. And the way you figure out the puzzle on what the names have to be for the puzzle. So what you want to do is you want to first read all this, then you're going to go to the second floor. Excuse me. And then you'll see that on the floor there's a clock. And it has the clock with hands pointing to the numbers 8, 9, no, 4, sorry. 8, 4, and 6 on the painting, which are going to be the first letters, or the first, the V's and the I's and the X's for, well, there's no X's in those, but the V's and the I's of the words. But long story short, you just want to read the ones that say Vividium or Vivarium, then Intervegelium, that I'm butchering this Latin or Greek, and then Viator, which this is supposed to be Latin for "in the garden sleeps a messenger." So, but of course you can just watch what I'm doing. You can see that the clock hands are pointing to those numbers. So you just take the V's and the I's of those pictures, and then that's your solution. And you just got to rearrange them. And I think maybe you go in the order of hours, minutes, and seconds, I believe, and that's how you figure out the order as well. So that one's the important one. Viator, which means messenger. And then this one I don't think is important. This one is Venus, which is love. And I think there's one more over here. This one is Zophis, which is swordfish, not important. I think this one's a red lady, red clothes. I'm not even gonna pronounce that. This one is tree-lined road, not important. And this one on the far left is cowardice. So none of those are important. We already visited the ones that we need. So just remember the numbers and then the order. So I'll go ahead and show you, but it's in the garden sleeps a messenger. So it's Vividarium, and then Intervegilum, and then Viator, I believe. So we'll go ahead and select Vividarium. Come on, Phil. Vividarium. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I always remember it's Vivi, like the character of Final Fantasy IX. And then it's Intervigilium, which is the very top one. And then Viator, which is right beneath Vivi. It's right below Vivi. Thank you. And then we'll get the title. And then we'll see it translates to "in the garden sleeps a messenger." This will summon Trauma, which is going to be the boss for the art gallery. And this one's not super duper difficult. As long as you can summon Doom Train or use Meltdown on Trauma, he's a cakewalk. His most damaging attack is going to be Mega Pulse Cannon. Not super difficult at all. He does summon some enemies that can possibly cause some trouble, but not very difficult. It does have high vitality though. And right here, I'm not going to make the same mistake, because I'm over here thinking, let me just go ahead and unjunction the elements. That way I don't make that mistake. I don't know why I put Tornado Magic on Zell. I don't think Trauma is weak against Tornado. Is it? It is weak against Tornado. That's why I did that. I just didn't remember. I guess I kind of remember that I didn't. But yeah, Trauma's not super difficult. The only thing it can do is just summon little miniature versions of itself. They use Pulse Cannon. If you take out all the drones that it summons, it will use Mega Pulse Cannon, which Mega Pulse Cannon can hurt, but at this point, if you have very very high stats, it won't do very much damage. I think, yeah, when you kill its little drones, I think after every 3 you kill, no, it's every 2 that you kill, it will use Mega Pulse Cannon, which is its most damaging attack. So, one thing, if you summon Doom Train against Trauma, it will be slowed. You'll notice it will move a lot slower, which is very nice. That means it will have less turns. And it's a little Trauma. I don't know what the heck that's supposed to look like, but or what Trauma's supposed to be. Maybe like an art piece, or maybe some kind of like bronze sculpture. I don't know, but I never really understand what it's supposed to be. I mean, it does have like a cannon on the bottom half, which you'll see here in a minute. It will just blast us with Mega Pulse Cannon. But we'll have Zell use Doom Train. Doom Train will run this dude over. It will be Vitality 0. You know, I just noticed on the little guardrail on the thing, it has a skull like on the end of it. That was pretty cool. You don't really notice that when you're playing, but you notice all these little small details when you're just watching it. So now it has no defenses. It's slow, so it will take even less turns, which means it's very vulnerable. and I'm doing like 7,000 damage to this thing. This is Mega Pulse Cannon. We'll shoot it, and then we will be given quite a bit, like maybe almost 2,000 points of damage to my characters, but it doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm deciding to heal Zell. I could have used that dual command, but didn't do it. Boop, boop. 6,000. Squall will do another 7,000, I bet. Yep. And it's almost dead at this point. Because I think they also made these bosses a little bit weaker than they should have, because they didn't. You won't have all your abilities, so I guess that's why they decided to make them a little bit less HP heavy. Because at this point, Trauma's already beaten. There's nothing. I mean, it's literally. It only took like technically 3 turns, maybe 4 turns. 2 turns to create the drones, 1 for Mega Pulse Cannon, maybe 1 for an attack, and that's it. Not very hard at all. And then for the fight, we'll get an elemental attack, which we should have those in mass already for certain guardian forces. Actually, no, I would not have been able to use dual because I don't have limit break. So yeah, I'll go ahead and unlock. Let's see. I think we'll unlock limit break or item. No, we'll get draw. Kind of useless. Don't really need it, but that's okay. Now we can go straight and fight the red giant right away. So you go down to the dungeons, and then you'll be able to fight the red giant. And then the red giant is actually where I show off that you can run away from these bosses. Bluebirds, not very difficult. Just 1-2 with Zell, or have Squall hit it, or in Renault's case, I think Renault's actually gonna kill it. Boop. Nope, it just decides to blind and poison and silence it. But Squall will deal defensive blow. Alright. Man, I didn't realize those bluebirds drop 3 AP. That's nice to know for the first disc. Anyways, go to the door on the left that's open, because the door on the right will not be open. You need the armory key. Somehow Squall somehow knows that. So go in here, and then once you walk in, the door will shut behind us. So we can't get out unless we grab that key that's suspiciously right in front of us, dangling in the skeleton's arm. Now, once you grab the prison key, the red giant will appear behind us, and it will challenge us right away. Now, interesting enough with the red giant, you can run away. You can run away from all these bosses, and I think that's just absolutely hilarious. Now, the red giant has some dialogue for different types of attacks you can throw at it, because it has an insane amount of defense and spirit. So just went ahead and run just to show it. And you don't even have to fight the red giant. You can actually run around it and unlock the door and escape from right behind it. He's like, what am I, a joke? But no, we're going to go ahead and fight him because I want to go ahead and get my abilities back. So let's go ahead and fight him. Now, the red giant is 100% just a physical attacker. You can draw Pandemona from it. Oh, and I guess I should have said also that you could draw Leviathan from Trauma as well. But the red giant is very, very strong physically and defensive, magic defense. If you attack him with physical attack, it'll go, wow, physical attacks are useless, with upper and lowercase letters. If you attack with magic, the red giant will say that magic is useless. If you attack with Demi, the red giant will say, no more Demi, please. If you attack by a guardian force, unless it's Cactar, they'll maybe Doom Train. It'll say that guardian force is a waste of time. And if you attack with Diablos, defeat is imminent. So it'll say Diablos, defeat is imminent. But it'll just use physical attacks, and once you use Doom Train, this fight's already over because it will be blinded. I think it'll be slowed. It'll have no defenses to speak of, so it can't just talk hot shit to you, be like, haha, my defenses are impenetrable. Now Doom Train has other things in store with it. In store for those defenses. That face right there, wait for it. That face right there says, you! In 126, but that was absolutely worth it. So, you use the Naga. It will do a lot more damage than what it would have done without the Doom Train. It's blinded. You can see its little eyes are smoking, and yeah, it's not going to last very much longer. At some point, it'll throw away its sword to focus on punching. The punching attacks are going to hurt a lot more, and its punch attacks will always hit as well. So That's something to be wary of. Its sword attacks will miss, but according to Final Fantasy Wikia, it will always hit its punch attack. So I didn't give it a chance to punch me, but that's it. That's the end of the red giant. The red giant will turn into stone and then disappear, and then we will get one more command unlocked. And I believe we'll get diamond armor for beating it, which teaches Guardian Forces, I think Guardian Force HP plus, is it 30% or 40%? I think it teaches 30%, which is kind of useless because we don't really summon Guardian Forces outside Doom Train anymore. So we'll go ahead and get those experience points. But it is nice because you could give Doom Train, you know, its HP plus 40% ability a lot faster. I'm going to go ahead and unlock. What am I going to unlock? I think I'm going to unlock item, I believe. Or limit break. Do I want limit break or not? We get resurrection. So we're going to leave, and then we're going to get the armory key, and then we're going to go ahead and fight Gargantua. Gargantua is not difficult at all either. Okay, so if we go this way will lead to a hallway with a save point in it, but we can't save, but we can heal at it. You can actually heal if you go into your items and use a tent or a cottage. Now this elevator right here, this is how you get the Rosetta Stone in Ultimecia's castle, but you need a party that is very heavy on, or very light on one of the lifts, and then very heavy on the other. And that also leads to a hallway where the Talpaz is. I believe I can never pronounce that enemy's name right. It's basically like a reskin of a behemoth. It's cockatrice, a big fish, and a geyser, I believe. I think the fishes here are all the big ones, which just have a lot more HP. They maybe hit a little bit harder, but they're not really any different than the small fish. And geysers will always be gizzards. They're always geysers. They're just going to die one hit. Doesn't really matter. Oop. It dead. And Zel's going to 1-2 it, and it can die with its friend. And so we need to go down to the bottom floor, actually. So we need to actually go down. I'm going to forget that that other team is on the chandelier. So we can't just drop down for a shortcut. So we're going to go down. Go this way. And then go north and go to the right, and then we'll be right where the other team is. I could just listen to this track all day. I love the Ultimecia's castle theme. Right here we got some more fishes. I believe these. I think these are all the small ones. I believe. I want to say. I could be wrong. We'll see. Zell punches them out. It should come up. Yeah, these are the small ones. So we'll get 9 AP, which I guess for better or for worse, that's cool. But don't really need the experience anymore, or the AP. But nice to know you still have that option in the castle. But by now, you don't need to do that. You can just go to Cactar Island or go to the desert to farm Cactars for way more AP. So let's go to the doors to the north here. There is a key in the water fountain up ahead. You can't really see it, but there is a key to the left of the water fountain. Hey, it's a Grat. And you know, I probably should edit out that fight because we already fought one. But Zell's just going to 1-2 it, and I don't have to edit it out. It's a very quick fight. And not very many experience points. So go north. There'll be a circle to switch your party. We're not going to do that. To the left there is a key, but you can't see it, but it is in the water fountain. And actually, I don't remember if you could see it in the PlayStation version either, so I don't know how they expected you to see that key. But that pathway leads to Rosetta Stone, but we can't go that way because those pikes or spikes are sticking out through the doorway. This cathedral is where you fight Omega Weapon. That black smoke will disappear if you hit that bell, and then you get 1 minute to get to it. But you only have enough time to get there if you switch parties in the original PlayStation version. But in the remaster, you can make it there with the time speed up mechanic. But just walk across a bridge and you can grab the armor key. If you run and you don't grab the key, it will fall down into the into the lake, not the lake, the river or stream. It will carry it off into the dungeon, which is where you got to go with it anyways. But it's nice to know you can just walk and grab the key and then, you know, go back. It's up to you. If you want to take out Tiamat first, you can take out Tiamat, then go back down and take out Gargantua, and then take out, you know, Catalpaz last. I think that's really all there is. Yeah, because after we take out Gargantua, there's 2 more abilities. So that will be Tiamat, and then that'll be Catalpaz. And Omega Weapon is just there just for bragging rights for a super boss that's not super hard because of items and spells they give you. Now this organ, all I'm doing is I'm just tapping buttons. I don't know what's the correct order, but I've always just pressed buttons, and then those spikes will drop down. And then if they don't drop all the way down, I just go back and I just play it. I'm sure there's an order to it, but I've really never struggled with just hitting random buttons and unlocking it. The treasure vault key, which is to the left on that fountain, is how you see what I mean. I just pushed random buttons and it unlocked it. We'll have to drain that water to go down there to get the Rosetta Stone. But the treasure vault key is used to fight the Catalpaz, which is a reskinned behemoth. It's just red. It's not a super difficult fight. I think its hardest hitting attack is Meteor, actually. And those behemoths in Final Fantasy 16, they're annoying as, you know, as all hell, because their comet, their meteor, their apocalypse, all that just summons meteors and comets. It's just annoying, man. I didn't think I could hate like that spell any more than I do like in 16, but man, it's annoying. Anyways, Armadodo and then a Grat. Not too difficult, just, you know, take it out. They're at low level. You should be able to kill these things 1-2 like Zell just did right there. And since it's on its shell, it has no defenses, so just go ahead and whack away at it. You don't have to cart it anymore because we got all the quakes in the world that we want. Okay, continue along the art gallery. And then avoid the green portal or green mist unless you want to switch parties. I don't know why you'd want to do that. And go to the right, not the left, Phil. That right there is how you will stop the water so you can get the Rosetta Stone, but we don't have the means to get that yet. So grab the armory key, use it, and go here. And interestingly enough, in the original version of Final Fantasy VIII, that green blood was red. So it's kind of interesting they decided to do that, you know, for, I guess, sensitive audiences. I don't know why. But we got to fight a Vice Age and a lefty and a righty. So I don't know why we're fighting this enemy instead of the main boss. So just go ahead and take them out, and then maybe it was just a mistake on the developer's part. They programmed a common enemy, well, maybe not a common enemy, but like a normal enemy instead of the boss. Insunia. No, don't cast Insunia on your hand, you fool. Because it doesn't matter, it's going to die. Lefty's going to, or righty's going to die. I think that's the lefty. Anyways, we take out the arm, and punch the head some more, and that should be it. And then we'll be done and we can move on. I don't know why they put this fight here. It's a waste of time. Hey, we get some lightweights though. Oh, what's this? It wasn't. It was a boss all along. That's kind of cool. I thought that was a super cool fake out in the first time I played this. And it's very, it reminds me of a cobra. Like the chest reminds me of the hood of a cobra. Every time you attack it, it will counter with counter twist. It hurts a lot, but that's like its main annoying thing other than Evil Eye. Evil Eye will cast slow and curse, but you know, if you don't have Limit Break unlocked, really the only bad thing is that it just slows down your party. But Doom Train will lower its defenses, and then you can do way more damage. But every attack, physical attack, will be countered with counter twist. So magic is probably the way to go about it, but it's not a hard enemy to beat, especially if you have recover and all that good stuff. You can just beat it down very easily. You can, I want to say you can draw Cerberus from it. I want to say, let me just double check my notes. You can draw Cerberus from it. And Red Giant, you can draw Pandemona from it. I forgot about that. But It can cast Berserk, but I generally have my stats defenses already prepared for that. But with Runaway Train, I think it'll be blinded, it'll be slowed, and then you'll be able to do a lot of damage. Yeah, that's an interesting backside. Yeah, Doom Train makes a lot of these bosses just so trivial. Like they're not even a thought. I think I've seen Shiva on it too. I'm looking at it, I think I see Shiva on my timeline. So somewhere along the line, I'd summoned Shiva for some reason. But there it is. No defenses. I think it's slowed. No, it's not slowed. Maybe it is slowed. I think it is slowed. But it's not blind, so physical attacks will still connect. But Quake, I'm not too worried about it. It'll heal most of my party members, except for Squall. Shiva can just tank the damage for me. I don't know why I just summoned Shiva. Maybe I just wanted to do it just to do it. But yeah, Gargantua, not a big threat. Counter Twist for physical attacks, and then Evil Eye are probably its most annoying attacks, because Evil Eye will just slow your party, prevent you from using limit breaks. But if you don't have limit breaks fixed, it's not going to hurt you. And that's it. Gargantua is defeated. We'll unlock our third to last ability, and I think that'll be it for this part, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and let Gargantua be like, no, this part can't end. But all good things must come to an end, Gargantua. Just like you. I like Gargantua's design. I think Gargantua has the most coolest looking design of all of Ultimecia's servants. But that'll be the end of this part, folks. Thanks for sticking around. If you like this part, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next part, folks. Later, and bye. Hey, I can use items now.